Today, I'm very excited to talk to you about the best product I've ever reviewed, Synergy amps. Let's get started. Okay, so before we get started talking about this product, let me give you a quick sample of what this product sounds like in a full mix. What I did is I put the Diezel VH4 on one side and I put the Soldano SLO on the other side. There's no pre or post processing done to the guitar tones at all. What you're hearing is the raw guitar tone coming out of these modules. The only thing I did do was push both of the modules with the precision drive from Horizon Devices. Okay, so in this particular episode, I'm going to go over the general concept of the Synergy amps product. I'm going to give you the features, the benefits, and I'm going to show you what they look like up close. And then in future episodes, what I'm going to do is quick reviews of each module that I own and show you what they sound like, as well as explain the features of each module. Well, as some of you know, I went live with the Synergy amps a couple of weeks ago on my channel, and I'll post the link below so that you can check that out. That was more of a handshake, first impression kind of video, and I could do a little live Q&A with everyone there. There was some good information on there shared by myself and by some of the people that were on the video as well watching. Look, I know there's several other YouTubers out there that have already done reviews on this product, but I can tell you this, my review is going to be a little bit different for a couple of reasons. One of the biggest ones is I own the Synergies. I actually bought them. I didn't buy them to do a review. I bought them because I absolutely fell in love with them. I was at Motor City Guitar a few weeks ago, and they told me that the new Synergies were in, and they had them hooked up to the Friedman ASC-12, which is my favorite cab. And I went back, grabbed the guitar, and plugged into them, and I'm not kidding you, within about a minute, I was reaching for my wallet. I knew I was going to buy the product and take it home with me, and I bought a couple modules, took it home. I bought the SYN 2, and I'll explain what that's all about in a minute. And I took it home, and it sounds absolutely amazing. The sound, the feel, everything is really good. And the reason why I'm kind of bringing up the fact that I own this product, and my review is going to be different based on that, is basically this. I've had time with it, and I'm reviewing a product that I owned, not a product that was sent to me because a company wanted a review of their product. A little bit of inside baseball for you. If you have a pretty big channel on YouTube, a lot of times the companies will reach out to you and send you products to review. You don't get to keep them. You have to send them back or to the next guy in line that's going to review the same product. And then after they make their rounds with all the YouTubers, they end up getting sent back to the company. So they don't really own the product, they're just doing their job by reviewing it. Now, I don't begrudge them for that, and I totally understand how that works and respect it. And I'm sure them guys are doing good reviews, and there's a lot of integrity involved in those reviews, and I've seen some of them, and they're very good. But once again, I liked it so much, I didn't want to just review it, I wanted to own it. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why right now. But first, let me go over what the product actually is. So what we have here is the SYN 2, and what it is a chassis that holds the modules. And what the module is a preamp. It's the preamp section of the amplifier, and these are legit. They're made by the actual manufacturers. Like I have a Diezel here. This is the Diezel VH4, and it's actually made by Peter Diezel. He actually made this himself. It's got his fingerprints all over it. It's with his parts, his specs, his diagrams, and everything. And they also have two 12AX7 tubes in them. So it's a legitimate tube amplifier. So it's a legitimate tube preamp section of the amp. Now, for those of you who don't know, the preamp section is actually where the tone lives. That's where all of the sound comes from in the amplifier. The power section will color that tone a little bit and maybe provide a little bit of character to it, but 90% of the tone is in the preamp section. So basically what you do is you buy the chassis. They have a SYN 1 and a SYN 2. The SYN 1 holds one module. The SYN 2 holds two module, and it gives you stereo sound. They all have MIDI capability on them, and they also make amplifier heads for the guys who want to stick with a head that will hold 1 or 2 units as well, and they have 6L6 tubes in them to power them as well. They also supply a power amp, which is called the SYN 5050, and it's a stereo power amp powered by 6L6 tubes, which will give you 50 watts of power on each side. So that way you can hook it up to your 2x12 or 4x12 cabinet that you already have, and it'll integrate with that perfectly. So let's take a closer look at these and see what's going on here. So I'm going to show you now how this works. These are grounding screws, and they hold them in place. You just undo the screws really quick, and then you can pull these out, and you can actually pull them out while the unit's on, which is called hot swapping. So you can just pull them out and put in a different one depending on which one you want to use, and that's what the chassis looks like right there. And to put it in, you just grab it, and there's a slide that it goes on, and it just pops in like that. You screw it in to ground it, and you're done. It's that simple. Okay, so here's the back panel. Obviously it doesn't come with these colored nuts. I just put them there so that I can hook things up very efficiently. You have your XLR outs. You also have your effects loops and all your other outputs and inputs that you need here. You have your MIDI in and out here. And you also have a secondary input on the back instead of having to just use the one on the front. You can just run both cables right here as opposed to having to hook one here and then one all the way around the front. And as you can see on the front here, you have an overall volume knob as well as sag control. And the sag control on this works very well. It was designed by Steve Fryette. So as you can see here with the Diezel VH4, you have two channels, you have two separate gain stages, and two separate EQs and volume settings. And as you can see with the Friedman HBE, you have two channels, two separate gain settings, and they both share the same EQ, but you also have two different volume settings. And on the back here, they provide you with a three-way switch so that you can change the feel and the character of the amp as well. So here's what the top of one of the modules looks like. You have two 12AX7 tubes in there, as well as all of the original components that are supplied and installed by the actual manufacturer. Okay, so I know a lot of you that know me and have watched my channel for a while know that I have a Kemper, I have a Helix, and I talk a lot about the modelers and all the digital platforms out there, and I happen to really enjoy those a lot. I still do. I still have my Kemper and I have my Helix. And by the way, on that note, I'm going to do an episode about how I integrated the Helix with the Synergy via 4-cable method and how pairing those two together has given me the ultimate rig. So stay tuned for that episode as well. So you're probably wondering what attracted me to a product like this. This is like analog technology. Well, I'll tell you. The number one reason why I bought this is because it sounds absolutely fantastic. And number two, there's tons of options. It's almost endless. In other words, like with the SYN 2, being that I can have two modules in there, I can do a show with any high gain amplifier that I want on this side, and I can have the TDLX, which is the Fender Tweed Deluxe, over here for all my cleans. Or if I want, I can have two high gain amps in here. I can have 4 channels at any given time, no matter what combination of modules that I have in here. They all come with 2 channels each. So that's actually really cool and very versatile. And as you can see, it's very small and very portable. I mean, I go direct out to front of the house with it and I'm done. I don't have to bring a cab because I use in-ear monitors. I don't use a cab anymore. So, but you can do that. You know, if you want, you can use a cab and go to front of house. It doesn't matter. So in here is also a cab simulator that's hooked up to the XLR outs. So you can run it in direct to an interface or the front of house. And you can even bypass that cab simulator and use any impulse response that you want if you prefer those through an IR loader or any other product out there that's associated with that. Once again, tons of options. What's cool too is it's very portable. One of the biggest reasons why I stopped using tube amps is because I got tired of lugging all that crap around. I mean, let's face it, you know, when you do shows like I do, you got 10 minutes to get on stage and get all your stuff hooked up and 10 minutes to get off after you're done. It's very hard to do when you got these big tube amps and all these heavy, clunky components that you got to carry around and hook up and tear down. You know, and with this, it's very simple. And this fits on the front seat of my truck. So when I'm on my way to a gig, this thing's sitting right next to me in the front seat, and it probably weighs about 10 pounds. So like I said, everywhere I go, I have 2 amplifiers with me. And if I want to bring more with me as a backup or to a studio session, here they are right here. Very small, very compact. It all fits in the front seat of my car, and it's not a bunch of heavy, big, bulky things that I got to carry around. Here's the other thing that attracted me to it. Now, as much as I love Friedman amps, and Dave Friedman makes really good stuff, at this juncture, I'm not going to spend $4,000 or $3,500 or even $4,500 on an amplifier, especially when I can get the same thing. I can get the HBE 100 right here for $399. Every module is only $399. That's killer. So for $399, you can have a Diezel as opposed to paying $4,500 for it. Here's where it gets even better. You're still supporting those companies by buying these products, even at the $399 price point, because they make them and you're keeping them in business by buying their products and supporting them. You know, there was a big discussion about how modelers and how profilers are kind of stealing intellectual property from these companies, and there's like this moral kind of discussion going on where, you know, should you be, you know, involved in that or not, because they're kind of ripping these companies off. But I know it's legal and I know there's loopholes for it and everything, but on an ethical standpoint, you know, if you're really into more of the old school type stuff and you want to keep these guys in business, this is a really good compromise where you can get an affordable version of their amplifiers without sacrificing anything. The quality is all there because, once again, it's all legit. It's all made by whoever's name is on the front of this. That guy made it in his shop with his specs and his components. So you really can't lose by getting something like this. So now, once again, like I said, I can have a Diezel VH4 for $399 as opposed to $4,500. Now, to be fair, I'm sure that their amplifiers are worth every penny that they ask for, and I don't begrudge them that at all. But for me, at this price point, not only can I own a Diezel, but I can also own a Soldano, and I can own a Friedman and a Fender Tweed. That's a pretty good deal, and the quality is all there. So once again, there's no sacrifice on quality. Now that I've discussed why I was so attracted to this product and became such a huge fan of it, let me tell you why you should give it a look and consider buying one for yourself. So who is this product good for? Well, I'll go down the list. If you're a studio engineer and you want to have legitimate tube amps for your clients when they come in there, and you want to have a little bit of variety for them and for you, well, here you go. This will fit in your rack no problem, and these don't take up a lot of space, so you can easily keep them around and pull them out and put them in as needed to try out different amps for different mixes and give your clients the variety and the tones that they're looking for without having to use a digital platform. Because believe it or not, there's still a lot of old school guys out there who will refuse to use digital platforms on the musician side and the studio side. So this is a really good compromise for you, and you're really not giving up anything because once again, these are legitimate tube amps. So who else should give these a look? Well, if you're a musician who plays out regularly and you're tired of lugging gear around with you everywhere you go, but you just can't get yourself to go over to the digital platform side of things because for some reason you're just not comfortable with that, well, here you go. Perfect solution for you. You can still have tube amps and still have all that great tone and that realistic feel and all the things that you're looking for, and the variety along with a really good portability factor. I mean, you really can't lose with this. So let's just say you go out and you buy an amplifier and it has a really good high gain channel, but the clean channel kind of stinks. And that's really common with high gain amps. Well, you don't have that problem here because once again, you can have a high gain channel here and a really good clean amp here and you're good. Now you have the best of both worlds. I mean, let's face it, the Fender Tweed Deluxe is a fantastic clean channel. It's legendary. Now you can have that without having to bring two big amplifiers with you. It fits right into this little chassis here. And once again, very lightweight, and it doesn't take up hardly any space at all. And you know what else is really cool for touring or gigging musicians is that sometimes if you're gigging out a lot, things can kind of get a little stale. Well, bring a couple extra modules with you. They don't take up a lot of room, and you can change them out night after night and try out the Soldano SLO or the Friedman HBE or the Diezel VH4 on different nights and really enjoy the different tones and character and reactive kind of playing that you get from them, and it kind of spices up the night a little different all the time so it doesn't become so mundane night after night. And I think that's a really cool option too. In fact, I have two shows coming up. One's on December 1st and one's on December 7th. And I'm going to use a different module for each night just for the heck of it. It's just kind of fun to have a little variety. And because it's so well designed, especially with the MIDI capability, it'll integrate with all of the gear that you already own anyway. So there's really not a whole lot of adjustment that you have to do in order to switch to this product. And another person who should really consider this is somebody just like myself, somebody who records and plays out often, but also has a digital platform and hasn't been 100% happy with the tones that you're getting out of it. And you want to go back to tubes, but you just can't seem to get yourself to want to go back to carrying all that heavy stuff around anymore. Well, here you go. Now you can keep your digital platform and use it for all of your effects, and use this for your tone and control it via MIDI through your digital platform. You know, the Helix, the Kemper, the Headrush, Axe Effects, all of those products will integrate perfectly with this, and now you can have the best of both worlds. You can keep your digital platform for all the switching and all of the controlling and all of your effects and convenience regarding all of those things, but enjoy legitimate tube tone, again, without making all of these sacrifices regarding space, weight, and inconvenience. Now, another type of person that this would be good for is, let's say you have an amp that you really love and you don't want to part with it, and you're kind of just used to just doing things that way, but you wish you had maybe a better high gain channel or a better clean channel on your amp. Well, with two cables hooked up to your effects loop that has to be in series, by the way, you can hook up the SYN 1 or the SYN 2 and add up to 4 more channels to that amplifier by just hooking this product up. And then you can put any module in here that you want. So you can have a Marshall JCM and not be happy with the clean channel, and now you can hook up a SYN 1 or SYN 2 and then have the Fender Tweed as your clean channel now. Now, on the other hand, let's just say you have a Fender Tweed and you love the clean channel out of it, but you're not really happy with the gain section of the amp. Now, with this product, you can actually turn your Fender Tweed into a Diezel VH4 or a Soldano SLO by hooking this into the effects loop. I mean, how cool is that? Now you have the best of both worlds with the gear that you already have, and you didn't have to spend $4,500 to get another amplifier. So this is a very affordable product, and it offers a ton of options for you, and again, no compromise. So if you have a store in your area that carries these, definitely go in and check these out. You will not be disappointed. Bring your guitar, plug it in, and take your time with them, and you're going to fall in love with these immediately. I mean, what other tube amplifier out there offers these types of options? I mean, you have the most portable version of a legitimate tube amp ever built with all of these options and flexibility. I mean, you just can't beat it. I mean, where else can you go and get a Diezel VH4 but still have a Fender clean channel in it? You can't do that. You can't get a Diezel amp with a Fender clean channel in it. But now you can with the Synergy product. Because like I said, on this side you can have a high gain amp, and on that side you can have any other amplifier you want, whether it's another high gain amp or a clean amp for you. And you can once again have the best of both worlds. And if you pair this with a really good digital platform, now you have the best of 3 worlds. I mean, you're like a triple threat. It's an amazing, amazing product, and I can't recommend it enough. This is the best product I have ever reviewed so far. It's my favorite product of the year, and I can't recommend it enough. Do yourself a favor and go check one of these out. Now, I know what some of you are probably wondering. Am I stuck with just what Synergy offers regarding modules? No, you're not. In fact, there's actually several companies out there that offer modules for this product that fit right in there and integrate with it perfectly. I mean, Randall and Egnator did this years ago, and the license went up, and that's why Synergy took over. They bought the licensing for it and picked up the ball where they dropped it, and now they're running with it. And so all of those products that were made back then are compatible with this still. And there's also Motor City Mods, who, by the way, I'm doing an episode with very soon, and Salvation Mods, who make modules for this product as well, and they integrate with it, like I said, perfectly. And they're modded, so they'll have some extra features on them. Here's the thing, the time is right for this product, and the reason why I say that is this. Digital platforms are becoming very popular, and they're taking a huge chunk of the market away from all of the tube amps and the analog products out there. So this is the tube amp side of the market punching back and gaining some market share back for themselves because they need to survive as well. And I think they did it brilliantly because once again, most of the guys who use modelers and digital platforms do it for the convenience sake because they're tired of carrying heavy gear around. Well, that's not a factor anymore because now you can have legitimate tube amps without having all the weight and the bulk and the inconvenience. And they're affordable because, like I said, I have a Diezel VH4 with 2 channels in it for $399. You can't beat that. You really can't beat that. And it's legit, and it's made by Peter Diezel, and I can support his company and keep him in business so that he can continue to make great products for years to come. And on a side note, I did talk to Dave Friedman briefly about this a couple weeks ago, and he said he had a lot of fun making all of the modules for this and really supports the product big time. And we're lucky to have his legendary products involved with this as well and at a very affordable rate. Because once again, Everything that's supplied by Synergy, no matter who makes it, is only $3.99. The price is the same across the board.